Hello, my friends. How are you? Happy Wednesday. I know it's kind of a little bit early, late, what have you, a different night. But I wanted to, since Facebook was so funky on Monday, I thought, we'll give it a shot tonight and see how it goes. So my plan is to kind of alternate between Facebook and YouTube. And I'll tell you beforehand where we're going to be. But definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you can't find it, the easiest way is to go to caramiller.com, and down at the bottom there's links to everything. And you can go all the way down and just click on YouTube and say subscribe. And they're really good about giving you notifications when I go live. So anywho, that's what's that. I don't see that you're live here yet, but I'm hoping that you are. I'm looking to see. Nope, it doesn't know that I'm live yet, but we'll play here. Be sure you let me know when you're here. Okay, it does know I'm live now. Cool. So, I've been embelly designing up a storm. And embellies, if you've not sure what those are, they are little SVGs that go on the front of a card. Here's one that we did today. What's nice about these is they're made to fit with the Cricut Joy so that you can, really easy to do on the go. If you are going to an event, they're great to use up lots of little pieces, lots of scraps. Did anybody watch HSN yesterday? Oh my gosh. Talk about guilty pleasure. I should not have watched as much as I did, but okay. I found lots of things that will go with embellies. I was super excited to pick up a couple. I'll let you know when they get here. But anywho, tonight we're going to make a card that's not even in the store yet. And there's still that free one from Monday. I left that there because I know a lot of people didn't see it. Again, you just go to caramiller.com, click on the SVG store, and you'll find it. Okay? All right, so here's the one. Hey, Tammy. Hi, Lori. Here's the one we're going to work with tonight. Now, the cool thing about Design Space is once you learn that software, you don't have to worry because, whoops, hold on, that didn't work. Let me try again. Once you learn the software, it works for any Cricut. So if you learn Design Space, you can do the Explorer, you can do the Maker, you can do the Joy. I love the size of the Joy, and I love it for card making. Now, when I'm doing scrapbooking, well, then I need the bigger mat. But for 90% of my card making, I don't really need the bigger mat. Unless I'm doing like a box card or something that I need to cut and score the bottom. But all of these embellies are designed to fit on a regular A2 card, just a regular card base, which means that you take the 8.5 by 11, cut it down at 5.5, and then you're going to score at 4.25. And then you've got your card base. So you don't need to do this on the Cricut. You can just do this with your trimmer. All right, notice if you missed it, look in the blog and it'll link you and it gives you all this stuff. I did a short little video the other day about how to make yourself a kit, and that's what we're working with tonight. Let me just show you. My table's a little messy. This is what you put in the kit. You take your coordinating cardstocks that are going to go with your designer series paper, and you cut those down, and then you cut your designer series paper into 4x6s. So you get plenty to work with, right? Here's my pack for this. This is a pack of paper that was a freebie during Celebration at Stampin' Up! And I thought, I got a bunch of those, I should use them. So here's what I'm going to work with tonight. I'm going to work with my card base we talked about. Hey, Jeanette. Oh, hey, Mary Lou, how are you? And Tammy, welcome, ladies. Lori, I'm glad that you're here. We can get you all indoctrinated into this whole embelly joy life. In case anyone's wondering, no, I do not work for Cricut. I did at some point in my life, but right now I am just me. And my main focus is my SVGs. And that's where I spend most of my time, is in designing, and I love it. It's so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to decide what my card's going to look like. What are my coordinating layers going to go with? The fun thing about embellies is they usually need 2 or 3 different papers. Now, if you are super matchy-matchy, then you may want to use one paper twice, and you could do that. I kind of set them up like cards and see how they look together. You'll notice if I picked, let me try another one. If I picked like a pattern one, that might just be super crazy and it would be too much. The colors go, but the design is just too much. Hey, Becky. So I'm going to stick, and I am a clean and simple kind of card maker scrapbooker. I don't like lots of different patterns together. Notice when I wear solids, not a lot of patterns, but that's my style, that's my like. May not be for you. Oh, I'm glad you're in the craft room tonight. Hooray, hooray. Yes, everything is great. Let's do this. Whoops, backwards. There. You don't need the little directions up in the top. So here is, this SVG will be in the store later on today. But right now, it's only in Design Space. Now, an SVG, remember, is a scalable vector graphic. It's a file that has images in it, but it tells Cricut where to cut them, okay? So when you bring this in, it's grouped together. When I move it around, everything stays together, right? If I want to get a peek at what it's going to look like, I can say ungroup. All right, this is the first layer of my card pizza. This is going to go right on top of my card base, this color right here. It is 4 by 5 1/4. I can cut that with my trimmer, super simple. I don't really need to cut this with the Design Space project, with my Cricut. I don't. So I'm just going to turn this off, but I'm going to know that I need to use it. I've added them to the files because it gives it a little balance and kind of helps you see what's going on. If you were doing this on a big, a regular 12 by 12 mat, and you wanted to make 6 of these cards, then you would want this extra base here, because if you're going to mass produce something, then it's definitely easier to let the Cricut do it. If you only have to cut one, you don't need the Cricut to do it, and I'll show you in a minute. So remember those colors that I showed you? That this color is going to be that navy blue stripe. This one. This is what's going to go on the bottom. All right, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change this to navy. All right, just so that I know. Then next on my little sandwich was this tiny dot one. And that's going to be, it's kind of a purple. It's all the colors, but I'm going to change it to purple, lilac, something, so I know. And then the yellow is going to be a Calypso Coral. These are Stampin' Up! Colors, but clearly any colors. You don't have to use, you can use whatever you have in your stash. So that yellow, I am going to change to, it's not really the right blue, but it'll be okay. And this white is going to be white because I'm going to put something on it. What am I going to put on it? Well, I could use a stamp, which is super easy, and that's what these are designed for, but you could also use a Cricut image. So let's go look out in the images what might go on here. So what's the theme of our card? Is it Christmas? Is it Halloween? The paper doesn't have anything on it that is specific to a theme. So I could make it be anything. I am going to make it be, how about Get Well? How about a Get Well card? And you're thinking, wait, these were supposed to be Christmas. They will be if I make them with Christmas materials and Christmas pattern paper and Christmas images, but I can also do a Get Well. So I'm going to type in Get Well, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select Access so that it's not a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm going to look down through and see what would go well. Now remember, it's going to go in that little circle. That's where I think it should go. So I think I like that one. That one's really pretty. Now, one of the things that you're going to find when you're working with cards, these things are pretty tiny in order to fit on the front of a card. Using paper, specifically cardstock from Stampin' Up! Or Close to My Heart or Basil, those are pretty thick cardstocks and they just don't cut very well. They tear really easily because they're thick cardstocks. They're great for mats. They're great for making a 3D card. They're tough to get these tiny littles. So if you really, really want that image, I would use vinyl. I would use my matte vinyl and cut it with that and stick it down and be good to go. So that's an option. The other option is that you could do something that you can write. Remember, the Cricut Joy can write. So to do that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to tell it draw only. That's going to narrow it down. And now it's going to give me images that are going to work with the pen. Okay? Still get well soon. I'm going to kind of scroll down and see it's only got 8 things in this option. I'm going to go with, I don't quite know how Strong Girls Get It Done is Get Well, but I kind of like it. So I'm going to use that one. Maybe it's not really Get Well. Maybe it's Get Strong. That's okay. I'm going to add it to the canvas. I wanted you to see how you can use Cricut and your SVGs, your embellies. Oh, my Get Well Soon was still here. I must have clicked on both of those. So let's just show you, let me just show you how itty bitty this ends up being. So if I shrink that down enough so that it's going to fit on my card, on this little circle, keep getting smaller, right? It's going to go there like that. Well, notice it's only 1 inch tall and 1 inch wide. So that means my letters are going to be itty bitty. They're going to be like 1/4 of an inch. Way smaller than it's going to write very well. It would work. It would work great with vinyl, but it would be really frustrating to try and use it. Now, I could change this to a write layer. So if I come up here and I change this to pen, now Design Space would go ahead and write that, but I want to show you what's different about this one versus the one that I picked. That, notice that looks like I actually wrote it. It's just a single line. This looks like a double line because it took the cut layers and turned them into write layers. Okay? All right, so we're going to get rid of this one for now. The beauty of this is if I wanted to do another one, it'd be super simple. So I'm going to shrink you down. And this is going to write, so it's not going to matter. I'm going to put you right there, and I like that, but I want to make sure I'm in the middle, right? I want to make sure I'm right in the center. So I'm going to take you and you. I'm going to put you on the top. I'm going to select them both. I'm going to come up here to align, and I'm going to say center. Perfect. But if I just go ahead, well, let me show you. If I just go ahead and say make it right now, what's going to happen is Design Space, I have to tell it what kind of mat I'm using. I'm using the regular, plain, ordinary blue mat. It's going to just write on my mat. It doesn't know that I want it to be on that circle. It's just going to go ahead and write it over here, which isn't what I want. So let's cancel this because we need to tell it. What you see is what you get. Cricut will only do what you tell it to do. So let's select this baby and we're going to say attach. And now when I say make it, Cricut's going to bring it on over and it's going to say, oh, that's what you wanted. You want me to write it on top of that circle. Oh, I can do that. So now what it's going to do is it's going to write Strong Girls Get It Done, and then it's going to go ahead and cut out the circle. Okay? All right. So we are good. We are ready to go ahead with that. I'm going to change these cameras a little bit so that you can see what's actually happening. So here is my Joy, my card base. This is the one that I said I'm going to use, and I'm just going to use my trimmer. So I'm going to bring out my trimmer, and it's already 4. It's 4 by 6. So I need to make it 5 1/4, right? And then, because I did not hide that layer, when we get to it, we'll tell it, nope, don't cut that. We already did it. See how much faster that was to just go ahead and cut it with a trimmer? It would have worked. I could have let the Cricut do it, but it doesn't really need to. So in some cases, you have to like use your brain. What's easier? And for me, this was easier to just go ahead and cut this. And I'm just going to pop that down. Okay, well, I need my camera to come a little closer. Come over here. That's better. Okay, so there's that. There's the base of my card ready to go. Now, it wants me to do my white layer. And we're going to pop that on. If you were watching Monday night, I put the links to what these mats are. I get them on Amazon. I will put the link below here when we're done too. They're really a lot less expensive than your official Cricut ones, and they work great. Okay, so we're going to load you in. No, you don't want me, you want that. Sorry, I'm making you dizzy. Make that work. I'm trying to get this one. Ew. Nope, it's not going to work. Never mind. We'll keep flipping back and forth. Sorry. We're in Design Space right now, and what are we going to cut on? What are we doing? We are using medium cardstock. That tends to work really well. Some things to notice. It's got the default pressure here. If I know, for example, that my cardstock's a little thicker than others, it's cardstock, but it's a little thick, I can switch this until I want a little bit more pressure. Make Cricut cut through. The other reason that comes in handy is if your blade's getting a little dull. If you've been using it a lot, you can always bump that pressure up a little. And I'm going to remember it because I'm going to use that same one through all the layers, all the loads of my mat, all right? And now we're going to let this go ahead in, and it sucks it in, and make sure that I have enough paper for what I'm trying to do, and I do. It's making sure the mat's aligned, and now it's going to come up and it's reminding me I need to switch this to a pen, right? The Joy has specific pens that only fit in the Joy. I want to just show you the difference. This is a Cricut Joy pen. This is a regular Cricut pen. Okay, it's longer. The Cricut Joy looks different on the end. A little bit. They're a little bit different. So make sure that you're getting the right pen when you're picking up your Cricut Joy pens. Pop it in. And we're going to say go ahead. Your blade will sit right here. There's a magnet that holds it. I don't always remember to do that, but it keeps it from, rolling off the table. And now it's going to go ahead and write. And it's going to write that image that we picked from Design Space. So just because you're using an SVG doesn't mean that you can't add Cricut images to it as well. When I share SVGs with you or files with you, they can't be combined. I can't use Cricut images in an SVG and share it with you. They don't let me do that. So, but you could do it this way. Does that look cool? I love how that looks. One of the things I noticed yesterday when I was watching HSN, a lot of the diamond press stamps are really little, and they would work well on these. That's one of the issues with using your stamps on these. We're only talking about a 2.5 inch, sometimes 2 3/4 inch space because the cards are small. It's a card. And so sometimes certain stamp sets work well, certain ones don't. So you'll have to kind of pick and choose. All right, now we unload. The next layer it wants is this layer. All right, so we pop this color on. This is the reason I love the Joy. It's so quick. It really does go right through the card. Makes them really fast. If I were doing this on a bigger machine, it just literally takes longer because it has to load the bigger mat. You can use your apps. Your iPad will also work with the Joy. I don't want you to go out and buy a Joy if you don't already have one. But, okay, so we had a boo-boo here. That's because my mat is been used a bazillion times and is starting to get less sticky. So I'm going to flip her around and I'm going to do it again. It's a little annoying, but you know what? It's just a piece. It's not a big deal. Just have to grab the same color. And because I have them already cut over here, it's not a big deal. And I'll save that. I'll use that piece for something else. All right, so let me show you what I do when I'm doing these and you're not here. I kind of keep my hand on that corner. I want to make sure we're doing the right one. We're not. Just a second. I have to tell Cricut what I want. I want you. Yeah, I know. Wow. It's up in that corner. And so it's trying to grab it on that corner. So what I'm going to do, let me take you back here and show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to move it over a little, right? So it's not grabbing right in that corner where it might not catch. And I've got plenty of paper, so I'm going to just take it and move it over here, all right? What you see is what you get. So if you're having issues with that, if you have a not brand new mat and sometimes it's giving you a hard time, just move that image over a little if you have room. Okay, so watch where it cuts this time. The other thing you can do, see, I'll push that down. The other thing you can do if you're having trouble just in this corner, because that tends to be where they like to cut, you could grab a little piece of washi tape and stick it in that corner, and then it will make sure that it keeps that paper down. I'm really struggling. Let me show you correction number 3. We can do this. We will win. I've been using this too much. So I also have, we're going to grab the stronger mat right here. And we're going to give one more piece, I hope. We do. Okay, so we thought we outsmarted it, but it didn't work. So if your mat is starting to be not so sticky, the best way to get your mat to stick again is to run it under some warm water and let it dry, and it will increase the stickiness. You don't need to do any of those crazy things that you read on Facebook, like some spray from the dollar store and you don't have to do all that. You really don't. I will say these mats go quicker than the big mats do because you're always cutting right here. So they do wear down really quickly. I am always a blue mat fan, but you know what? Today I've been going to purple. So I think I need to reorder some more. We're fine now. Goodness. That was this. It sticks to my shirt though. Crazy little mat. All right. So then, see what we got next. All right. The next one. Look over here. This is the one that I cut. That I cut myself. I trimmed with a trimmer. So this is the one I want to cut now. All right. I don't want to cut. So it's unhappy that I'm doing all this stuff to it. So I'm going to use medium cardstock, and this is the one we're using, okay? And we're going to load her in. It's making sure everything's okay. And we're going to say go ahead. And now it's going to cut out that very last layer. Sorry, this one took me forever. Now you'll notice this one helps you with your placement. And that's what embellies are really known for, is that they tell you where to put the pieces on the card. So you don't have to measure or figure things out. You can just go ahead and use the pieces like puzzle pieces to help you know where they go. And unload. Okay. So now we have this one. All right. So the way our card goes together is this one goes here. And it goes right in the middle, so it's easy. You just line it up on either side. Then this goes on top. And then this one goes all the way on top of that little shadow that's cut out right there. So let's put this together. I am going to put this on with my regular adhesive. And then, so this lines up right at the edge. See it? And then you are going to get some dimensionals. Now I could ink around the edge of this if I wanted. Can always add more cool stuff. Don't feel like, well, it didn't show it in the picture. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back, so this layer kind of pops up when it goes on the front of my card. These cards are screaming for ink, they're screaming for ribbons and some gems, some Wink of Stella. All your fun stuff goes on these, and because they're little, they're even more fun to work with. And we're going to put it right down in the middle. And now we are ready to either be done and write a little note in here, or we could add some stuff to this. We could take a ribbon and tie it around here. We could put some gems along here. You could pop a photo down in here. So don't feel like, well, it didn't show it like that. Lots of options when you get these going. They are getting you started. So embellies are, again, kind of like a sketch that turns into a card. All right. Well, I hadn't really planned on talking about what do you do when your mat's not sticking, but I guess that was our objective tonight. So thanks for coming tonight, everybody. I will put the links below here for where these mats do come from, and generally they work better than that one did tonight. I just need a new one, and I do have them in other colors and other designs, so I need to get some of my other mats out. I've been cutting a lot of embellies this weekend, so I think I have a few, and I mailed out some too. So hope you have a great Wednesday. I will see you again Monday. And if you have any questions or anything that you need to work on, Mary Lou, I seriously can't wait to see what you do with these. Mary Lou is my inking queen, and I bet hers will come out super cool. I love her colors and her looks. So we will wait with anticipation now that she's back in her craft room and see what those look like. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you soon.